my talk. That's what my book is about. Buy the book. If you want to know more. You need to know more. Perfect segue into our new president. Americans were looking for change. That's why it was really not going to be Hillary Clinton. Because Bush, Clinton, that's not change. Do you know, I don't know if you're aware of this. This is one of those little facts that you could use at a cocktail reception someday. Do you know that a voter in the last election had to be 47 years of age to have been able to vote for anyone else but a Bush? Because remember, Daddy Bush ran as vice president in 1980, or a Clinton on the ticket. It's a lot, an awful lot. Bottom line, Americans were looking for change, and they were looking for a problem solver and a consensus builder. More and more Americans were identifying themselves as independent. More and more Americans were saying, I don't believe in partisan solutions. Give me bipartisan solutions. And essentially, interestingly, the two political parties happened to nominate the two candidates who could project that bipartisan problem-solving image better than anyone else. Barack Obama and John McCain. And frankly, if John McCain had run in 2008 the way that he had run in 2000, this would have been a much, much more competitive election. But he tilted too partisan, and anyway, I don't have to talk about him, he didn't get elected. Barack Obama did get elected, and much of it was a demographic change as it was a political change. Demographic in the sense young people elected Barack Obama. Young people 18 to 29 years of age showed up in record numbers. Let me give you an idea. 18 to 29-year-olds have been 17 to 18% of the total vote in every election since 1992, presidential election. So they were 17, 18% of 92 million in 1992. 17, 18% of 95 million in 1996. 17, 18% of 105 million in 2000. 17, 18% of 122 million in 2004. They were 19% of 135 million voters. That's huge. So don't let anybody tell you, oh, young people didn't turn out. Oh boy, did they turn out to vote. In addition to that, the Latino vote, the Hispanic vote, a huge change. The Latino vote grew enormously, and 2/3 of that vote, just like young people, went to Barack Obama. That was plenty right there. Thirdly, we have a growing group in our country that you need to understand. One of my good friends, the author Richard Florida, it's a name you should know, just like the state, Florida, has written this book about a series of books on the rise of the creative class, knowledge workers, people who work in ideas and the arts. And you need to know that's a growing number of people, 30 million. But it's also growing in key states. New Hampshire, Virginia, North Carolina, Florida, Colorado, New Mexico. Does anybody know the significance of those states that I just mentioned to you? Other than?
Swing states.
Swing states that went from red to blue. And in fact, Arizona is another one. And had John McCain not been the candidate from Arizona, Arizona would have been blue. There's a new wave now of reds to blues as well. How is Barack Obama doing? Well, if you believe the polls, and I believe the polls, If you believe the polls, he's doing very well. Gallup has him at 71%. That's a little high. I use a different statistical measure. I have him at the mid-50s. But when somebody's at mid-50s in my poll, they're doing very, very well. I use excellent good as positive, fair and poor as negative. How many of you are students? Okay. When you get a fair rating, that's like a C-. That's enough to get you out of undergraduate school, but it's not good enough to get you into a good graduate school, is it? That's why I use that measurement as a negative. Barack Obama has accomplished an enormous amount in the first 100 days. If you stop and think of it, he has accomplished an economic stimulus package, a bailout of the banks. By executive order, he has closed or promised to close Guantanamo. He has ordered that foreign aid no longer be tied to anti-abortion organizations only. He has signed off by executive order on getting back into funding stem cell research. By any stretch, in the first 100 days, this is an enormous amount of achievement. Plus, there's so much more that has been accomplished. Where he has not done well so far is in the area of bipartisanship. Now, arguably, I don't think the Republican Party was prepared to be bipartisan. But I think that the president made a mistake when he turned over the stimulus package to Democrats in Congress to write the bill, because they only know how to act in a partisan way. And I think that hurt the president a little bit, but not that much. He still has a majority. 2/3 of the American people tell us we like him as a person, and a president needs to be likable, first and foremost. That's the kind of person that can help mold and shape both policy as well as public opinion. And we've already seen noticeable changes in terms of the direction of our foreign policy. A new approach to the Middle East by sending over a very credible peace negotiator in the form of Senator Mitchell. A relaxation of at least some of the old Bush administration policies towards Cuba, with a promise, I think, of a little more to come. A handshake with Hugo Chavez, and patiently listening to Daniel Ortega over the weekend, and then also a very successful G20 image. Style, certainly more than substance, but generally that's what people notice anyway, is style more than substance. So, from me, right now as we speak, Obama gets an A-. I've had him as low, you should know, as C+, when he had some difficulties with appointing some cabinet members. And also, I think that the stimulus package was a problem. But he's at A- this week. And so, he's catching me at a very good week here in the Czech Republic. Thank you very, very much, and I can tell you have questions and comments, and I'll be happy to listen to them. Thank you. No. I guess I covered it. Oh, hi.
Professor Zogby, I have one question. Are you brother of the Professor James Zogby?
I am.
And he was, I have seen him twice here in Prague, and he was presented lecture here on Forum 2000.
Yes.
And he is political researcher for policy researcher, and you are for marketing.